Am I the butthole for not wanting to go on a family vacation to Disney and ruining everyone else's plans? My husband and I live a happy, quiet life in the mountains. No kids, a few pets, lots of friends and adventures to go on. My in-laws are nice people. They got the vacation planning bug and have decided that the big family vacation this fall is going to be going to Disney. I said their plans sound great, and I can't wait to see pictures. Mill said that we'd be joining them. It's a family vacation. Theme parks, especially overly crowded, hot, expensive ones with screaming and crying kids, and a week with his family? Hard. Pass. My idea of a fun vacation is camping for a week and hiking or backpacking, quiet solitude in the trees. We said we aren't interested, but that we're happy they get to go. Mother-in-law argued that we have to go because it's a family vacation. I explained that from my perspective, that's a lot of time to spend with everyone, that's a lot of time to spend with the kids who will be overstimulated, overtired, cranky from travel, etc., and that it doesn't sound like leisure, it sounds like work. Mill looked shocked and hurt, and said I didn't realize you looked at your nieces and nephews that way. Husband said that we love them, just in small doses, and that we honestly wouldn't enjoy being around everyone else for the whole time either, and that quite honestly we're just not theme park people. Mill looked so disappointed and made a quick excuse to get off the call. We discussed it again after and were both in firm agreement. A few days later, his brother called and yelled at him for ruining everyone else's vacation. I guess because we aren't going, it'll cost more for everyone, and the parents won't get a break because they can't take a day off and send the kids with auntie and uncle for a few hours. Husband said, "Oh, so the whole reason you guys wanted us to come in the first place is so you had babysitters?" Bill got super offended by that and made a comment that spending time with your nephews isn't babysitting and went off on how we don't know how to be part of a family, we just go off on our own and do our own thing without caring how anyone else is doing. It's caused this big rift and part of me wonders if we're just supposed to suck it up and endure a week at some overpriced, gaudy theme park just so everyone else in the family gets theirs? Am I the butthole? Update: I just wanted to redirect some of the child hate going on in the comments. We don't dislike the kids in the family. We spend time with them. We see them every 3 or so months and visit over holidays. The kids are perfectly good kids, but spending more than a day or two with them and the rest of the family is a bit much. It has nothing to do with the kids being brats or anything like that. They're just kids. Update 2, thanks for the perspectives, all. We're definitely not going to go on this vacation, or to Florida at all, no offense, Floridians, but I'd rather not meet Florida man. We are going to make sure to let everyone know that if they want to see us more often, they're going to have to put in some effort to at least meet us halfway, and come see us instead of us always coming down to see them. And of course let mother-in-law we're sorry for the way we put the rejection, but reiterate that we're not interested in a big trip for a week long, and we'll consider popping in a day or two if they do a vacation to somewhere more our speed. Not the butthole. A Disney vacation is expensive beyond belief and it's not worth going if you don't like theme parks. Plus you can't plan a vacation and say that someone has to go. That's ridiculous. You can invite them to come along but it's rude and crazy to say that you have to go. Also they were 100% wanting you to go as a babysitter for a day. That's ridiculous of them. The amount of money they quoted sounded insane, like we could fly to somewhere in Europe and go backcountry hiking for days and spend time in town for that amount. Update: please stop asking me for the amount. I'm not interested in discussing finances. You should do that. Obviously post-pandemic. Would they even be open by then? That said, I have no idea if they are still open as in never closed or have been shuttered for months. I've received a few letters saying I am due an eye test and I've outright refused to book an appointment because personal space and all. If I'm iffy about an eye test even with vaccines being rolled out, I would not be going to a crowded theme park. Both Florida and California parks closed around March last year, but Florida reopened in the summer and has been open since in some capacity. California parks remain closed with the exception of DCA opening briefly for some kind of event next month. Source: I live an hour or so away from Disneyland and DCA. Disney World is open with very limited capacity, mandatory masks at all times, mandatory social distancing. If you simply don't like theme parks, though, it still wouldn't be a fun vacation. If the in-laws want you there for your company, And you could skip the parks but meet for dinner/stay in the same hotel. There is actually a lot to do in Central Florida. When we stayed in Orlando, we went to Kennedy Space Center/NASA for a non-theme park day trip. Totally worth it. The Kennedy Space Center is so awesome. We were in Cocoa Beach and surfing a couple days before we went and saw a rocket launch from the beach. It was so cool. This exactly. Meet for dinner or breakfast, then everyone do their own thing during the day. Pretty sure doing your own thing was not the plan. Original poster and husband were planned as babysitters, even the family will never admit it aloud. Disney's been open for a while. Florida officials deliberately obfuscated COVID transmission data to make it seem like we were ready to open theme parks again before we were ready. It's so bad here, the state of New York is making people who fly there from Florida quarantine for 2 weeks before they can travel again. This is what happens when you have an economy almost entirely based on tourism. When it's good, it's amazing. The state is raking in so much money it can afford to maintain amazing infrastructure, but when there's a disaster, they will do anything to get money flowing again, even if it hurts their own citizens. Happened after the last Gulf Coast oil spill, too. They let the company managing the cleanup get away with providing cheap, ineffective PPE to the workers, and it caused untold damage to their health. The entire time it was going on, the state claimed there was no evidence despite a ton of people coming forward. The state of New York is making people who fly there from Florida quarantine for 2 weeks before they can travel again. Only from Florida? Where I live, we require anyone arriving here from anywhere else, by flight or otherwise, to quarantine for 2 weeks. Sure enough, we've been getting 3 or 4 cases a month, but always among the quarantiners, and always ending before their quarantine finishes. Florida is just one of many states you have to quarantine after traveling from in New York. Only people coming from NJ, CT, PA and I think maybe MA are allowed to come into NY without quarantining. If you're talking about Disney, it's already open and has been open again for several months. Disney World in Florida is open, but Disneyland in California is not. Yeah, why use vacation time and money for something that you will hate? The brother-in-law only wanted them to come so they could babysit and supplement the cost of their vacation, which is just horrible. And yes, spending time with your niece and nephew without their parents is babysitting. You can spend time with them in the same room where it is still the parents' responsibility to make sure they don't kill each other, behave, etc. Yeah, brother-in-law saying it's not babysitting confused me. Like, they're not ops kids, so yes, it is babysitting. Although I do see some parents refer to it as babysitting when they are watching their own kids, and that irritates me, but that's not the case here, lol. Yeah, why use vacation time and money for something that you will hate? The brother-in-law only wanted them to come so they could babysit and supplement the cost of their vacation, which is just horrible. And yes, spending time with your niece and nephew without their parents is babysitting. You can spend time with them in the same room where it is still the parents' responsibility to make sure they don't kill each other, behave, etc. This is why I'm confused by ops in-laws. It's a freaking pandemic. How entitled do you have to be to get all tilted when people you invite on vacation to a crowded theme park politely decline? Going to Disney this fall is not a good idea. First, October 1st is the 50th anniversary of Magic Kingdom. Second, they are planning a huge celebration while the parks are still limited capacity. There is limited access to experiences. And to top all of that off, you have to make a reservation for which park you want to visit, and a lot of these are already at capacity. Plus, COVID. This fall is the dumbest time to go. You're not going to get your money's worth at all. Also, they're clearly trying to plan a trip that's more expensive than it needs to be. Not the butthole. Yeah, I'm a Disney-obsessed nut, and it's the last place you'd find me this year. I'll go back when all the entertainment comes back. My cousin and I had planned, before COVID, to be at WDW for the 50th this fall since we're both huge Disney fans. But with everything that's happened? Yeah, no. The 50th anniversary celebration is going to go on for 18 months, we can plan another trip. I know someone who recently went to Disney and they were miserable. OFC, it's hot, and then not only do you have to stand in line for hours when it's 90 degrees, you're doing now it with a mask on, which is even harder. I'll see you and I will raise you. I know someone who recently went to Disney and they caught COVID. Passed it on to their elderly parents and the dad died. I am sure their memories of Disney will be tainted after that. They should just stay home, not only because it's hot and miserable but COVID, woman shrugging. Till. Thanks. NTA, brother-in-law was offended because he got called out on something that was true. They wanted you to subsidize part of cost and babysit kids. I would be the one offended, were I you. Exactly. Even if you love them, taking care of kids that aren't yours is always babysitting. And it's awful to pretend like it isn't. You have to be upfront about expectations. They went in assuming original poster wanted to take their kids around Disney, probably for multiple days. I enjoy kids when parents are present to help if needed. I have my own too, and that's really enough for me. I wouldn't toss him off on anyone at a theme park alone even if I wanted to, which I don't really. It's a lot of work until they're like 10 plus. I love my niece and nephew, but whenever I am in town my sister and brother-in-law just come by and stop paying attention to them. They are 3 and 1, with the expectation that my mom or I will take care of everything. You didn't ruin a family vacation, you declined to go on a trip where you were expected to subsidize something you had zero interest in and babysit to boot. Not the butthole. If the family wants everyone to go on a family trip, they need to start by involving everyone in the planning. That way, they can plan trips that hold at least some interest for everybody going. Yes, I don't understand why they wouldn't have included everyone in the planning for something so specific like a theme park. Or more understanding of close family members' personalities and tastes. My dad is claustrophobic and hates big crowds. My mom doesn't mind as much but has a lot of back and neck issues, so she can't do a lot of theme park rides. We did a family vacation to Orlando years ago when my dad had a work conference there, so Mom and I went to Universal Studios one day while my dad worked and mostly walked around together enjoying the character actors and ambience. We did a few of the gentler rides together and I did a big roller coaster by myself. Next day the 3 of us went to Epcot together because we knew it would be a little chiller than some of the other Disney parks, and so my dad was willing to try it. And then we did other stuff together in Orlando that had nothing to do with theme parks and that we knew everyone would enjoy. But even as someone who does enjoy theme parks, they are so freaking expensive and can be really emotionally exhausting because of all the people. It's messed up to pressure someone into spending that much money on something they already know they absolutely will not enjoy. Not the butthole, and sounds like in-laws may have genuinely had good intentions, but were making far too many assumptions and not actually taking everyone into consideration. If they were actually considering original poster and their spouse, they would have made more flexible plans so that original poster and spouse could go do their own thing during the day and meet up with the family for dinner outside of the parks in the evenings. I don't think they had good intentions. The brother even talks about how original poster and spouse are always off alone, so clearly everyone is aware that that is the kind of people they are. They could not have possibly been under the impression that original poster and spouse would appreciate that vacation setting. The plans were made for the kids and the parents of the kids, not original poster and spouse. They assumed that if they came to original poster and spouse with the plans laid out already, that original poster would feel obligated to attend given all the trouble they'd already gone through, and the hassle it would be to change plans. They also planned on original poster and spouse being free babysitters, again because they thought they could use guilt to ensure it. And that's not even a guess here, they are already throwing out the guilt. Don't you love them? If they had good intentions, then they wouldn't be flinging guilt around. They would be apologizing for making a poor choice, and trying to brainstorm options, or they would be understanding that original poster turned it down and probably apologizing again. These are not people behaving as though they had good intentions and made a mistake. They are acting like entitled jerks who are doubling down because they got caught in their plan to use original poster for a discount and free babysitting. Edited Jenks to jerks as it was before autocorrect exerted its will. Edit again. Thank you lovely people for awards. I would never assume anybody could go on a vacation I alone planned that cost hundreds to thousands of dollars unless I was footing the bill, which is never going to happen, huh? Not the butthole, but am I going crazy here? Why has no one mentioned the big C, like there's a reason things are shut down right now? You are not going crazy. There is an uncontrolled pandemic raging, and these geniuses want to take a family vacay to a theme park. Holy hell. Not the butthole. People still take plane to go to Disney today. Some people just don't care. Also, In one of the most uncontrolled states in the country, where way too many people blatantly skirt regulations. Never mind the fact that a new variant that bypasses the immune system was literally found in NY this week. But, it's Florida. A global pandemic is no reason to skip a vacation, wear a mask, avoid crowds, or get takeout. It's just fine crowding into bars and restaurants or going to Disney, just as long as you spend money. There's a reason I saw someone refer to our governor as Rick Death Sentence. At least it's planned for the fall when things will hopefully be better, but a lot of people are still going at the moment. I was confused by this at first because the big C usually means cancer. But yeah, I think they're buttholes for trying to drag people to Disney during a pandemic that will probably not be cleared up by then, especially in Florida. If the trip is in the fall, a large portion of the US population is expected to be vaccinated. Planning a domestic trip around then doesn't sound egregious to me. Yeah, Disney World at least, not sure about Disneyland, has been doing a decent business since they reopened in I think July. I know several families who've gone since then. Not mine, because we want to get the full value of our trip, which we had planned for spring 2020 and are still waiting to reschedule, but there will always be people ready to go despite conditions. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.